All right, so these two neighbors got into a fascinating argument that seems to have divided the internet. And I'm very curious as to you guys that are parents on the show, whose side you would have been on had you heard this.
Oh, I took a side.
I bet. So there's two neighbors, and I'll paint the picture for you, and then you can listen to the way that this conversation or this interaction went. It's a neighborhood. There's a woman who is saying that the kids that live in this home have been going around and barking at her and at other neighbors in the neighborhood. So she's living. And
when you say kids, we're talking about like young teenagers here.
Yeah, young teenagers.
And they're like hiding in the bushes and stuff and then scaring the neighbors and barking at them.
And then running back into the home. So the way the video starts, you can see from a Ring camera, you can see the kids. You can't necessarily see them barking, but you can see them run back into the home, and it looks like they had just been doing something. And then the woman now storms up to the same door, and you can see her on the Ring camera. She's clearly livid, and she rings the doorbell. And then Dad, who appears to be the father of these kids, answers the door, and this is what followed.
So I'm going to ask you to keep them inside. Okay. So I am the president of the POA. I've had numerous people complaining about a noise complaint. Numerous. I came out to walk the neighborhood just to see what was going on, and they are hiding in the bushes, barking at me.
They're being kids.
I understand that, but when I have like multiple...
It's 9:15 after 10 o'clock. If they're being too loud,
I'm telling you, on our Canterbury site, I mean, I have like almost 10 houses now contacted me.
Okay.
I hate this job. I really do.
Obviously you don't, because you're still doing it.
Well, no, I'm about to give it up, actually, at the next meeting. But I've had numerous complaints. I just came out here to say, hey, but then they're like barking at me and running. And
they're doing kid stuff. They're kids. That's what's wrong with this world, because people like you and those other people don't let kids be kids, okay? So we appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate you stopping by. Have a nice night.
Wait for it.
What'd he say at the end?
I couldn't tell what he said at the end.
That was her walking off camera. She cussed.
Oh, I thought that was him in the house.
I thought it was too.
No, it was her.
Way. So her approach was bad. You're gonna have to keep your kids in the house. But if this was my kid, I always explain this to Hollis, right? My 16-year-old. So if there's going to be problems, it's going to be with my 16-year-old. You got yellow cards and you got red cards. This is a yellow card right here. All right, dude, you're being disrespectful. You're scaring the neighbors. Stop doing it. So she comes to my house. She tells me what they're doing. I say, I am so sorry. I will take care of this. Then I go and I tell my kid, stop being an idiot. And this thing is over.
But he was defiant that kids are just being kids.
No.
And I actually didn't think her take was that, or her delivery was that bad. She seemed to be nice about it. She said she had multiple complaints, and if there's a website for the HOA, I mean, you can see that. We have our own Facebook page, and people, oh my God, I grab my popcorn all the time because of the stuff that happens in the comments on our neighborhood's Facebook page. But yeah, she's been dubbed this Karen, and like she's like this horrible person. And I'm like, she was actually really nice about it, and he was kind of rude, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
I didn't get it either. I saw a lot of people calling her Karen, like you said. That's what she was titled as, the newest Karen. And I get when you knock on somebody's door, you never know how they're going to react. But to me, I didn't think she was rude at all. I thought he was the rude one, and I thought she handled it pretty well.
I think people forget the context too sometimes. Like, these aren't young kids like just hanging out and barking like a puppy. They're teenagers hiding in bushes.
They're being disrespectful.
I completely agree. And I feel so bad for her because she just wants to get out of this job stat. But when 10 people are complaining about the same situation, maybe don't think that you're not the problem. If 10 people are going to the president of the HOA or whatever her official title is and saying that this is an issue and it's obviously boisterous enough to catch attention 10 houses down, you and your kids are the problem.
Tommy, are you still president of your HOA?
Yes, I am.
How would you have handled this, sir?
Oh, I was on her side.
Yeah?
At 9:15 at night, kids outside in the bushes. I mean, I know people that walk and carry, and, something bad could happen. You get scared, something's in the bushes.
That's true.
Pow, pow. Right. Then they're on the news crying.
Derek here is on the side of the dad. Hey, Derek, you're taking dad's side in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Why?
God.
Yeah. I mean, I got 3 kids myself. Kids are going to be kids. It is what it is. I would talk to the kids and tell them, hey, calm down. We got a bunch of Karens in here. But yeah, I mean, when I shut the door with the lady, I would have barked at her.
I just think they're being really, really disrespectful and scaring other neighbors. That's not kids being kids. You're scaring the neighbors.
Like
That's
if they were outside riding their bikes and like being loud or something like that, that's kids being kids. Hiding in a bush and barking at your neighbors and scaring them at 9:15 at night.
I get it, but I'm gonna let my kids have fun.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to do that ding dong ditch thing, me and my buddies.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I remember we did this one man, and we kept doing it to him. He turned on the front light, then he turned on the back light, then he came out and he had a shotgun. And thank God by that time we were up the street in the ditch, but we ran off. But that's what could happen.
So same exact thing happened to me.
Is that right?
Yep, my last time doing it too.
I told you guys I was ripping up the sod in a neighbor's. Remember that?
Yes, that was such an a-hole thing to do, you little a-hole.
Such an a-hole. I was 7 years old at the time. My mom was
7 at that. He was 7.
It was before I left for California, so I must have been 7 years old. And there was a little pack of us a-holes that were going around, and this neighbor put sod in their front yard, and we thought it would be really funny to rip up the sod every night until they called the cops, and the cops were hiding, and we did it one night, and we had to get in the back of the cop car and be dropped off at our parents' house, man. That's not kids being kids. That's kids being felons.
The Bert Show.